अथ विशेष्य विशेषणादि विवेकः. Viveka. So now we begin the discussion about Visheshya, Visheshana and so on. Tatra Krishnadi Shabdaha Sangya Visheshado Niyata Purushottamadayah. Within the three genders, the word Krishna and so on are proper names and so on, and are always masculine and so on. So basically, someone may say, oh, this must have been told in the very beginning. Why now? But Jiva Goswami puts it here. So the word Tatra here means Lingatraye, within the three genders, because we covered three genders. The word Adi in Krishna Adi refers to the words Rama and so on in masculine, Radha and so on in feminine, Gokula and so on in neuter. The word Adi in Purushottam Adaya refers to Lakshmi and Brahma. The word Sangya Visheshada in effect, okay, this is, yes. So within the three genders, the words Krishna and so on are proper names, they are proper Sangya. What is Nama? Adhatu Vishnu Bhaktikam Arthavan Nama. And yes, and are always masculine. So they have the same gender and they are proper names. And yes, like that.
So
Sangya
is
Vishesh.
it mentioning the Sangya, or it is mentioning the words under that Sangya?
What is words under Sangya?
Like Rama and so many words are under masculine gender, right?
Means all the words. When they say Adayah, so on, so they include all those words. Rama, Vishnu, Krishna, ityadi.
All these words are called, what is that, Prabhuji?
It is just mentioning that all the words are proper names. They are proper namas. Sangya Visheshas. They are proper names.
Oh, oh, I see.
They are just proper names, and they cannot be adjective. They cannot be adverb, and they
Oh,
cannot be
I see.
anything else than proper names.
So this word means a vishesha, which is a sangya, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
What is a Vishesha, which is a Sangya? I know what is Vishesha. Visheshya.
Vishesha means it's exclusively Sangya and nothing else.
Yeah.
That's all. And they have their fixed genders, these words. Yes.
Prabhuji, Sangya means a technical term, right? Some kind of label, right?
Means that what you're talking of is like a definition, something. But here Sangya means name.
It's a proper Nama, that's what you're saying.
Yes. That Sangya you're referring to is like chapter 1, Sangya Prakaranam and so
Right,
on.
right.
But here Sangya means a proper Nama. It's a Nama.
I see, okay.
Or we can say Nama Vishesha in one sense even. Adhatu Vishnu Bhakti Kamarthavan Nama. But let's say Sangya Vishesha because Jiva Goswami says Sangya Vishesha. So this discussion of Yoga Ruti and so on, it will be coming ahead in Akhyat Prakaran. So we'll cover it there. Very nice discussion. Sankhyaadi Shabdastu Vachya Lingaha. But words like numerals and so on share the gender of the substantive. So basically, the word Vachalinga means Visheshya Lingadi Bhaja. They share the gender and so on of the Visheshya. So now we have Visheshya, the main noun, and Vachalingas are those words which are like supplementary or which connect to, which add on to the Visheshyas in terms of Jati, Guna, and Kriya.
So this is the Visheshana, right?
Yes, we can say Visheshana, Vachalingas. So they share the same gender and Vachana, gender and Vachana, and what else? And Vishnu Bhakti. So when they say so on, it means Vachana and Vishnu Bhakti of the Visheshya. Yes. Vachalinga words are modifiers. The words Krishna and so on described in the previous sutra are Visheshyas, substantives, in that they have their own gender and are fixed in that. Vachalinga words, however, don't have their own gender but rather share the gender of the substantive. So the examples given in Vritti 305, which we'll study today, show how jatis, gunas, and kriyas are vachalingas. Then samanadhikarana विशेषण रूपा विशेष्य लिंग विष्णु भक्ति वचनानि भजन्ते. Samanadhikarana visheshanas which have the same adhikarana object. They share the linga, Vishnu bhakti, and vachana of the visheshya. Basically, it talks of the visheshanas which share or take the same linga, gender, Vishnu bhakti, case, and vachana of the visheshya. So just now we'll be doing examples. So I think Visheshya and Visheshya are clear, like Visheshya and Visheshana. Visheshya is the proper noun, we can say the proper word, which have their own fixed genders and so on. And Visheshanas are the modifiers which describe the Visheshya in one way or another, and they share the same linga, gender, vachana, and vibhakti, Vishnu bhakti, as per the Visheshyas. So the examples are coming ahead. Jati guna kriya dwara yasya vishesha kathyate tad visheshah yena tasya vishesha kathyate tad visheshanam. This is one of my favorite sutras. That whose distinguishing feature is described by means of a jati, guna or kriya is called visheshya. So one which is described by jati, guna, kriya is visheshya, and that by which the distinguishing feature of the visheshya is described is called visheshana. A little passive sentence or indirect speech, but so visheshya is something which is being described by jati, guna, kriya, etc. And visheshana is something which is describing the visheshya through jati, guna, kriya. That's all. For example, Gopaha, Krishna. Now Krishna stands here as Visheshya, but Gopa stands as a Visheshana, and Gopa, it indicates the jati of Krishna. Gopi Radha, now this is masculine, so this is feminine, and then this is neuter.
One question. So here it says by means of jati guna kriya is called visheshya, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how Krishna is defining or by means of jati guna kriya, how is that coming into
Krishna is the visheshya here, and
right.
Krishna is being described by the word Gopa, which indicates jati of Krishna. That Krishna belongs to the jati of Gopas, the Vaishyas. So Gopa is Visheshana and Krishna is Visheshya.
So jati guna kriya dwara yasya vishesha katyate, right? Whose visheshya is mentioned.
Who's Vishesh, not Visheshya, who's Vishesha? It's
Whose
just
vishesha? Yeah, vishesha is mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Mentioned by that word or some other word?
No, by Jati Guna and Kriya.
By the Visheshanam through Jati Guna Kriya Dwara.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Gopa,
jati guna kriya dwara should be associated with the next word, next sentence, is it?
No.
Jati guna kriya dwara yasya visheshah katyate.
Tad Visheshyam. Tad Visheshya. So that's one sentence basically. Yasya and Tad go together.
So yasya, I understand that part, Prabhuji. My question is, yasya means whose distinguishing feature is mentioned.
Okay, in this case,
mentioned by whom?
Who's by
in
the
this case, let's say Jati Guna Kriya Dwara Krishnasya Vishesha Katyate. Tat Visheshya. Let's say like that in this example.
What you are saying? Can you repeat again?
Jati Kriya Dwara Krishnasya Vishesha Katyate Tad Visheshya.
katyate, visheshaha katyate by whom? By,
That's the next sentence, as you're saying, yena, by whom?
I see.
Tasya
Okay.
visheshaha katyate, tad visheshanam.
I see. Okay.
So Visheshanas act or takes place through Jati Guna Kriya, these classifications. So Gopa is like Jati and it's a Visheshana, but in next is like Jati Visheshana, we can say Jati Visheshana. So again Gopi, Kshaumam is Linan. Then Shyamaha Krishna. So Shyama, it's like color, so it's Guna. So let's say Guna Visheshana. Gauri Radha, Pitam Vasanam. Then Vihari Krishna, it indicates Kriya, he likes enjoying, he likes roaming. So Kriya Visheshana, we can say, not Kriya Visheshana pertaining to the verbs, that's a different thing, Kriya Visheshana. But so this is Visheshana indicating Kriya of Krishna, Viharini Radha, Vihari, Gokulam, Gokula Dhanjal, and so on.
So this is exhaustive, right? Probably Jati Guna Kriya. There is nothing beyond that.
Means Jiva Goswami just says Jati Guna Kriya, he doesn't say Ityadi. Generally, he would say Ityadi, something like that, when it is there. So we have to accept Jati Guna Kriya.
I see. Okay.
The following information should be added. Vishnu Padas are actually of two kinds, Subantas and Tingantas. So Subantas are nouns and Tingantas are verbs. Tingantas are called Kriya Padas, verbs. Recent authorities say that Subantas are of four kinds. The Visheshyas, Visheshanas, Sarvanamas, which are Krishna Namas according to Harinamamrit, and Avyayas. And in that regard, the Sarvanamas are also considered Visheshanas. Because even though they act as replacement words for the Visheshyas, they still share the Linga, Vishnu Bhakti, and Vachana of the Visheshya. Yes. Therefore, in Vritti 310, Jiva Goswami will personally say Visheshna Shabdeshu Krishna Namakhya Shabda Uchyante. The words called Krishna Nama are said to be among the Visheshna words, right? For example, if we say Te Sarve Maharshayah, Te Sarve Maharshayah. So Maharshaya is the main noun, the Visheshya. Te and Sarve, both they are pronouns, but they are all considered Visheshanas of Maharshaya, according to Jiva Goswami and the explanation we are reading. Among the Avyayas, the Vachakas such as Swar and so on are included among the Visheshyas, while the Dyotakas are similar to. So this Avyayas part we'll study at the end of this chapter. So now we'll discuss.
That's what I was thinking. Avyaya, we are not studying at all. Okay.
No, Avyayas are at the end of this chapter.
Okay.
Now we will discuss Visheshanas. First of all, Visheshanas are of, this chapter is very important, so I prefer that we read whole thing, like in class or apart from the class. So Visheshanas are of two kinds, Samanadhikarana and Vyadhikarana. The Samanadhikarana Visheshanas are of a further three kinds, since they can either be the Visheshana of a Visheshya, Visheshana or Kriya. It can be Visheshana of a Visheshya, it can be Visheshana of a Visheshana of a Visheshya. This is also to be seen. Any example for this one? Visheshana of the Visheshana or of Visheshya?
Like in English, like a bright blue cloth.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like
bright
blue cloth. The blue is very bright. The color blue is very bright or brilliant, or light blue, dark blue.
What is that? Unata Ujjwala Rasa. Narapita Churim Churam
Very good example.
Samarpayitum Unatojjwala Rasam.
But what I believe is, or what I understand is, Unnata and Ujjwala both refer to rasa. Unnata doesn't refer to Ujjwala and then Ujjwala refer to. I don't think that's the way.
Could be. It could be.
Unnata rasa and Ujjwala rasa. So maybe.
Mahadbhuta, we can make something up, huh?
And I'm also thinking of
Mahadbhuta.
something.
You could say Mahadbhuta Rasa, something like that. Greatly astonishing. So
Yeah,
astonishing is already,
Mahad.
and then greatly astonishing.
So yes, like that. Sometimes I have seen even Visheshan of the Visheshan of the Visheshan of the Visheshya. It just continues sometimes. Anyhow, so Visheshanas are of Samanadhikaran Visheshanas are of three kinds. It can be Visheshan of a Visheshya.
Oh, there
and
is
then-
coming example. Gahanaga Shyamaha Krishna.
Okay, so yeah. So Visheshan of a Visheshana and Visheshan of a Kriya. Kriya Visheshana are also there. Like if it's Gachati, so Tibram Gachati, how does he go? He goes fastly, in a speed, like that.
Uchaihi
An,
Vadat.
an example of when a Visheshana modifies a Visheshya is Gopah Krishna, Krishna the cowherd boy. An example of when a Visheshana modifies a Visheshana is Ghanaha, Shyamaha, Krishna, dark bluish Krishna. And an example of when a Visheshana modifies a Kriya is Shighram Malam Kroti. He quickly makes a flower garland. Yes. The gender and so on of the Visheshya is applied to the Samanadhikarana Visheshana. Yes. While it will be described later in Sutra this, that only Tritiya is applied to the Vidhikarana Visheshana. So mostly what we see in general in the scriptures are Samanadhikarana Visheshanas in general because they share the same lingas, etc. according to the Visheshya. Furthermore, when the Visheshana comes after the Visheshya, it is called Vidheya Visheshana.
Oh, this is coming here. This Anuvada Vidheya, this Chaitanya Charitamrita, so much discussion on that. I did not understand many things.
Vidheyangsh something.
Yeah.
So, furthermore, when the Visheshana, I think that's pertaining to that verse. Atma Ramascha? No.
No, this is Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna
Yeah, Swayam Bhagavan. When the Visheshanas come after the Vishesha, it is called Vidhe Visheshana. And its Visheshya is called Uddeshya or Anuvada. The definition of these terms is as follows. Yad uddishya kriya pravartate arthad yad vastu prag vijnatam tat uddeshyam anuvado vauchate yat cha vidhyate tat vidheyam. That by reference to which the kriya takes place, or in other words, that which is already known, is called the uddeshya or anuvada, and that which is established is called the vidheya. For example, upadhyayah pitritulyo bhavet. The teacher is like a father. Because the verb takes place with reference to the already known teacher, Upadhyaya is the subject, Uddeshya. It was previously unknown to the student that the teacher is like a father. Thus, since this is what is established, Pitritulya is the predicate, Vidheya. It is not required that the subject and predicate have the same gender and so on. Thus, in the example, Dharme Vedaha Pramanam, the Vedas are the authority on Dharma. The Linga and Vachana of the subject Vedaha and the predicate Pramanam are different. However, the rule is that the subject should always come before the predicate. Yeah. In this regard, Krishna. Yes. In this regard, the authorities on Alankar Shastra say Anuvadyam Anutvaiv na Vidheyam Udirayet. One cannot mention the predicate without first mentioning the subject. So in Krishna's to Bhagwan Sam, I think Krishna is the subject, right?
Yeah. And Prabhu,
Bhagwan Swayam is the predicate.
Yeah.
so what does it in predicate in Sanskrit? It is vidheya, right?
Vidheya.
And
they say.
Anuvada is the subject. So Anuvada is known or first what first comes? Is that what Anuvada?
What is known?
I-
What is already known?
To known in the sense when you state the statement, first Krishna, after that it is
The
known.
subject, the thing you're talking about, and then the videya is the new information. The predicate is what the sentence is establishing. So that's why we're saying we're establishing, because you see the argument. If you take it the other way, then you're establishing that Swayam Bhagavan is Krishna, in the sense that Narayan becomes Krishna. But if you're saying Krishna, the subject, is Swayam Bhagavan, then the Bhagavatam is saying that Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. And then they use this argument.
So does it mean that you cannot use the Visheshana before the subject at all?
He's going to go into that here. He's going to say that this rule is upheld whenever there could be a confusion of what's being stated.
Otherwise, you can break the rule.
He's going to give some examples. Matsya Avatar gives in the Samshodhani places where it's obviously, but it's very clear what the thing means, and there's no room for confusion. And so anyway, we can read it.
So among the examples in the Vritti, the first three are examples of when the Visheshana is a Jati, Gopa and so on. The next three are examples of when the Visheshana is a Guna, which was, I think, the Varna, Shama and so on. And the last three are examples of when the Visheshana is Kriya, Vihari, Ityadi. In Sanskrit grammar, the word Visheshana sometimes refers to an adjective. So adjective is Kriya Visheshana, sometimes to an adverb, which is normal Visheshana.
That one's Kriya Visheshana.
Oh yeah, adverb is Kriya Visheshana, sorry, and adjective is pronoun, no, normal Visheshana. And
Jati.
sometimes to a verb in opposition. What is this?
Opposition.
I don't know.
Positioning of things side by side, the relationship of two or more phrases.
It's Samanadhikarana.
Samanadhikarana.
Sometimes to a word in Samanadhikarana opposition, and sometimes to a predicate. So predicate also acts as Visheshana, and of course Samanadhikarana is a Visheshana, and adverb and adjective. So C means Visheshana is also such a topic. Therefore, the best translation of the word Visheshana is modifier. For this includes all of the above categories. All the examples in this vritti are examples where the Visheshana is an adjective, right? The example Shighram Malam Kroti is an example where the Visheshana, Shighram in this case, is an adverb. This kind of Visheshana is often specifically called Kriya Visheshana, modifier of a verb. All the examples in Vritti 307 are examples where the Visheshana is a word in opposition. Opposition is when one noun modifies another noun. And the example Upadhyaya Pitritulya Bhavet is an example where the Visheshana is a predicate, which means Pitritulya.
So if I mean, let's leave the Bhavet. If I say Upadhyaya Pitrutulya, that is also correct, right?
Yes. I think it's in this footnote that he mentions this thing.
The noun thing, right?
Yes, with the predicate, subject and predicate. This number 2, if you read the second.
This is a stylistic rule mentioned in Sanskrit poetry textbooks, and breaking it constitutes the fault called avimrishta vidhyangsha dosha, impure predicate. Nonetheless, what is second? Where is it here?
Yeah, that you must.
One cannot mention the predicate without first mentioning the subject. So if one mention the predicate before the subject, then it is a dosha. So then it's avimrishta vidhyangsha, right?
Yeah.
But then he says it's broken a lot, but it's broken in places where it's clear. Does not-
Nonetheless, in reality, this rule is often broken without any serious consequences, of course. Examples are Ishvaro Ham in Bhagavad Gita, Kim Swapnam Etat. Swapna Etat. So, is this a dream? Kim Swapna in Bhagavatam and so on. In these examples, there is no ambiguity about what is the subject and what is the predicate, because only one possibility makes sense in the context, since it would be ridiculous to say the Lord is I, is a dream this, and so on. However, in cases like Krishna's Bhagavan Swayam, where both possibilities could make sense, this rule is strictly observed to avoid any ambiguity about what is the subject and what is the predicate, since a major philosophical point is at stake.
So when two people are fighting over a statement, then we have to consider this one. Huh? Otherwise, we don't need to consider.
Yeah, I think the sense is also that we take that Vyasadeva wouldn't have made this mistake in a place that requires such clarity, like such an important statement.
But there is always a logician who can come back and then create another problem with this normal statement, right?
Well, yeah, that's for sure. That's why Jiva Goswami says that pure logic without the use of, Shastric guidance is useless.
I mean, that's why it's there. What is that? Na adarit. That verse, Aradhya Bhagwan, the last line.
Sri Chaitanya Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatradaro Nadaret.
Na paraha.
Naparaha. Tatradaro
Yeah, so,
yeah.
so for us, the conclusion is that we just follow Mahaprabhu and his teachings.
Yes,
And
Prabhuji, that is clear for us. But if you're talking with new people who are having background in other sampradayas as well.
I mean, if it's like from a preaching point of view, then it's okay, means what you're asking. But if it's like someone is trying to convince us, being Gaudiya Vaishnavas, then we have that statement, no, we'll just believe Mahaprabhu. But if it's we preaching to others, then of course we have to explain.
I mean, also these are good arguments, even to know for ourselves. It's a good argument here, this point, because it is a fault and it's a very important point. And there are other things from the Bhagavatam that you can pull, other stuff.
Before reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, I didn't know that argument existed.
I didn't even understand it the first time. I was like, what is he talking about? The subject and the predicate. What is this?
Even Jiva Goswami, he talks about this avimrishta vidhyangsha dosha a lot in his commentaries.
Yeah, because it's really important. It's an important point. Why would
Means,
because they say that that's already established. See, that's the rest of the argument. They're saying that it's a pointless statement if you take it the other way, because the avatars were already mentioned. Krishna was already mentioned in the avatars in the 3rd chapter. So why would Vyasadeva write it again? And why would he write the word to? Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. But Krishna, who is already mentioned, so who's already known from the previous section, is Swayam Bhagavan. So the whole statement doesn't make sense if you don't take it that way. It's a really strong argument.
Very good point. Very good point. Where did you get that?
It's Jiva Goswami brings this up, and also if you look back, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami brings this up. That's the full argument. Is there's no point in making this statement if you take it the other way.
So yeah, the list is already made. There is no point in saying again Narayana becomes Krishna, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So the only thing he could be saying is, but that Krishna who was mentioned as an avatar is actually Swayam Bhagavan.
Very good point, Prabhuji.
Then avyaya visheshanam brahma. The visheshana of an avyaya is declined in the neuter gender. Visheshana of an avyaya. So, for example, mahat swaha. So this swa is avyaya, and this mahat is visheshana, and it takes neuter.
Mm.
So avyaya visheshana always takes brahma. Any other example coming into mind for avyaya visheshana?
Mm.
First of all, we have to know the obvious, the list. Then we can think of something. Anyhow, we'll
That's a
come.
little tough because this swa is like it's one of the few avyas that's actually it's like used like a noun. So
Yeah.
Swaravyayam.
Swarganaka.
Yeah.
Swaravyam, Swarganaka, Tridasha? Tridva.
Tridashalaya.
Yeah.
Swaravyayam, Swarganaka, Tridasha, Tridashala.
Lokyo Didiva Dvaistriyam Klive Tapam.
Amara Nirjara Devas, Tridasha Vibudhasura, right? And then
Suparvana Simanasas Tridev Vesha Divakasa.
yeah. No, that you mixed, I think. No, Divokasa, right? You're right. Okay, yeah.
Been a while. It's been a while, so I don't know.
Means
Adite,
for me,
Visadaha.
for me, it's like 4 to 5 years. For me, 5 years back, I think. Anyhow, Kechit Shabda Visheshanatvepi Swalingam na Tiranti. This is like an exceptional thing. Some words, even though they are Visheshanas, they do not give up their own gender. So some Visheshanas, they do have their fixed gender and they do not give them up, even though they are, connecting to some Visheshyas of different lingas. For example, Pradhanam Krishna, Krishna the Supreme, Pradhanam Radha, Radha. So they are not Samanadhikarana Visheshanas, as far as I understand.
So, Prabhu, this is also Mama Nama Vijayaha, right? So, this Nama is a Naman Shabda, neuter. And Vijayaha is a Pullinga.
Actually, Nama is also declined in masculine.
But it wouldn't be Nama, right? It would be Nama.
Yes, and that's why. What is that shloka? Oh, that is Prema.
And also,
have
Mama
heard-
Nama Mohini. That is also correct, right? Female name. Same
Yeah,
word.
then it's like Vyadhikarana Visheshanas. But I've also read usage of Nama into masculine as Nama at places. So, Nama. Anyhow. But of course, this is Vyadhikarana Visheshana, Mama Nama. Basically, this Mama Nama thing is introduced by Sanskrit Bharati and Rashtriya Sanskrit Sansthan. So, and they are not really into grammar. They are into some Bhashanam and I'm not accusing them. It's okay, but it's made up by them.
You are saying it is not a properly correct term?
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that it's made up by Sanskrit Bharati and that Rashtriya Sanskrit Sansthan, and they only focus on the Sambhashanam, not on the grammar, basically.
They use some kind of little bit funny form of Sanskrit. Huh? They've taken out the dual and they only use particular verbs, and so it's good to get you into it.
Yes,
Get your brain working, but yeah, then you have to study grammar.
But generally, yeah, please.
I just wanted to ask if is Ishvara Parama Krishna from Samhita an example of this?
No, those are in the same, huh? Ishvaraha.
But even if but even if it's in the same, still, is it an example of this type of Visheshana relationship that they're describing here?
Yeah, Krishna stands as Visheshya and then Ishvara. Now, Parama can be Visheshana of Ishvara and Ishvara is Visheshana of Krishna. We can say like that.
Sure.
Yeah. And the thing, Ishvara is where you have you have it's not necessarily guna kriya jati dwara visheshana, is it? Because it's saying that he is the Ishvara. What is that? We were just reading about it.
Actually, we can say it to be guna.
Isn't it samanadikarana? It's in apposition.
Yeah, because
They're saying he is the Ishvara.
They said that this vritti, the examples given were all samadhi.
I thought it said 310 was the one where
They
they're.
said 3:7.
Yeah, means of course this is samanadikarana means, but I'm saying that Ishvara, what I understand is like the guna visheshana, because
But wouldn't Ishvaratva be a guna, like a quality he could have? Like a varna is a guna, but saying he is, like we don't say, when we say Shama Krishna, we don't say Krishna is blue in the sense that like he is the color blue. Whereas when we say he is Ishvara, we're saying he is an Ishvara. Or he is the Ishvara.
say okay, Ishvara, how do we translate Ishvara?
I think it can be both, right, Prabhuji? It can be Ishvara Tattva or as well as it can be the Ishvaratvam.
Ishvara Tattva, Ishvaratva, like Ishvara-ness.
The Ishvaratvam, that's the guna you were saying, right?
Then that
That's
becomes
a
a
guna.
guna.
That's a
But
guna, but we're not saying that. We're saying he is the controller.
The way
Because
I was just gonna say the way that Matsya Avatar Puru translated in English is a noun modifying another noun. And so then these examples given like Radha the shelter, Ashraya Radha.
Yeah, it seems like this is Samanadikarana.
So anyway, I just brought it up because I'm just trying to understand the different types of Visheshanas better. But yeah, obviously it's a Visheshana. So that's fine.
Prabhuji, I have one question. So regarding the previous topic, what Krishna to Bhagavan Swayam we were discussing, right? So Krishna is the subject and Swayam Bhagavan is the predicate. Now Swayam Bhagavan, let's say, I mean for argument's sake, is Narayana. So, but Krishna is Narayana. Everybody else is an avatar, but Krishna is Narayana. What is the argument against it?
No, that doesn't make any sense because you've already said that they're different. Vyasadeva has already said that there's some difference there because he's described the Purusha avatars, he's described Narayan, and then he's described Krishna. So they've been labeled as different. And then he says that Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan himself. Krishna is Bhagavan himself.
But Narayana avatar is not mentioned, right? Narayana is not mentioned as an
He's
avatar.
mentioned as the Purusha avatars, and then from that Purusha avatar, all of the Leela avatars are said to expand.
We are talking about like Narayana and Vaikunta.
Yeah, but the point is, is there anyone out there making that argument? Does anyone believe like
The
that?
Sri
Or is it you?
No, so the Sri Vaishnavas say that. So the Sri Vaishnavas say that Krishna is Purna Purusha like the Narayana. So they say like that. So Krishna is directly Narayana himself. Krishna is special among all the avatars.
Is it? They take Kurma and Matsya and Rama in a different category?
Yeah, exactly. So he is a Purna Purusha in the sense he is Narayana himself in the direct form. But whereas other avatars are different.
That's clever.
No, again, but then you lose the. Why did Vyasadeva say it to begin with?
What he begins with?
Why did Vyasadeva say this to begin with? Why did he say, but Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan?
Because out of all of them, Krishna is.
He is Narayana, but everyone else is not Narayana.
But everyone else is just the avatar.
Yeah.
Clever. I don't know. I don't have
I've never. That's interesting. I've never heard that argument placed.
One thing I was reading in, I think, Jiva Goswami or somewhere, that like, okay, we know.
Oh, wait a second. Then they quote. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Prabhu. I cut you off. I just had a thought. Go ahead.
So, of course, we know of many avatars and the Vishnu Tattvas, this and that. And then we go to the source, the avatari, you know. Now, avatar is like a fountainhead from whom all the avatars come up. Now, Jiva Goswami, I believe, or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they say, one point we see or we hear or we read is Avatar Shiromani. Parama Karuna Paho Dvijana. What is that? Nitai Gaura Chandra. And
Yes.
then
Sabavatar Sarashiromani.
Sara Shiromani.
Yeah.
Kevala Ananda Kanda.
Yeah.
Now, the point is, one thing we hear is Avatar Shiromani, best of all the avatars. Now, interestingly, Jiva Goswami is mentioning Avatari Shiromani. Krishna is Avatari Shiromani.
Interesting.
Because in the material creation, from I think Garbhodakshaya or Shirodakshaya Vishnu, all the incarnations come up
Shirodakshaya Vishnu.
from
Yeah.
Shirodakshaya Vishnu. So he is also an avatari in that case.
Yes.
But ultimately, the avatari Shiromani is Krishna.
That's nice.
Yeah. And
Though, yeah, Prabhu.
But in that case, I mean, with the pramana we are taking is our Acharya's words, right? We cannot just quote to them.
we're taking
For us-
Acharya's words, but we're not just taking them because they're our Acharya's words. We're expected to look at them for their logical veracity as well. That's why the argument is strong. But what I'm about to say is that our Acharyas also quote Brahma Vimohan Leela, and they quote the end of the 10th canto where Lord Vishnu
Yeah.
he takes the Brahmana's sons so he can see Krishna and Arjuna because he wants to render some service and have darshan. And these other, particularly the Madhva Sampradaya and the Sri Sampradaya, will just say, anyway, we don't have an answer for that. We don't want to talk about that. The Madhva Sampradaya goes so far to say that's not actually a part of the Bhagavatam.
Right.
With no foundation for it at all, no real reason. They'd have no pramanam for that. They say, anyway, these chapters don't count because it establishes Krishna as somebody that Vishnu serves, that Vishnu wants to serve.
One more point, like to Vijay Prabhu, is that, like you said, that now it's from our Acharya and we cannot quote them, from our Acharya. My point is that, like, when they are giving their arguments based on their Acharyas, so we are considering them seriously. So aren't they expected to consider our Acharya's commentaries also seriously?
No, correct.
Well, that's
So you
also
are telling that logical. Only we can, when
Plus-
they're quoting from
Yeah,
their
plus
quote
it is logical as well.
Yeah, we don't quote Jiva Goswami per se to them. We quote Jiva Goswami's argument.
Yes,
That's the point.
argument
We
is
argue
fine.
with
But Paramachandra Prabhu, sorry, go ahead.
we argue with shlokas, but if you say Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has said this to a Sri Vaishnava, of course he's gonna say, well, I don't care about him. But you just take the shlokas that Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has lined up, and you say, this is my argument. You have to defeat it. You know?
Yes, that is correct. But my point is, when Paramachandra Prabhu, maybe I did not understand your argument properly. So you are saying that because our Acharya say Krishna is Avatar Shiromani, we accept him as the Avatari Shiromani, right? But this is, how do you tell to others Avatari Shiromani? Where is that coming from? Our Acharya's words, right? Rather than the.
Well, Jiva Goswami won't say that without actually substantiating it. Prabhu just doesn't have the reference, but I'm sure if Jiva Goswami said it, he's quoting a verse that we can also quote.
Yeah, that is which is fine. That is fine. I accept. I mean,
everything melts down to points like Krishna's to Bhagwan Swayam and references like this.
Yeah.
And then the acharyas, they just expand it in their own ways. Like avimrishta vidhyangsha dosha is one way to substantiate the point that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And then there are so many ways to elaborate and expand from those maxims which we have in the scriptures, like Krishna's to Bhagwan. That's what my little understanding is.
Yeah, nice. Thanks.
I'm gonna
Also,
go
I was
back to Raj Goswami's argument now because it's been a while since I've seen it, and I'm sure he takes it further because he specifically
there is the
this point, and the argument that the Sri Sampradaya has against this idea.
I was also remembering about this one, Mahatvam Gangayaha. Where is the Mahatvam? This is that by the Digvijay Pandit, who argues with the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he composes the 100 verses of Ganga, and then he says Mahatvam Gangayaha, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says you are using Mahatvam first with the predicate before the subject, which is the Ganga, which is a Amrishta Vidayangsa problem. So he goes there.
So, yes. Mhm. So we did this. Kech Chabda? No, we didn't. Okay, we'll just stop here for today because, and maybe we can read all these things again because it makes a lot of sense to read again. So, and we'll resume tomorrow because we didn't read on Monday. So, we'll just study and complete this section tomorrow. So, yes. Prabhu, did you continue the Anvayas?
Yes, I have did 2 more slokas, Prabhuji.
Okay, for today's class.
You can click on the links. You mean chapter 3 we are on.
It's not happening, Prabhu. See,
No, click. Yeah, there. No, another click. Then click, and there is one more. It's showing up, right? Pop-up window. You have to click there. Yeah.
oh. So we read this first one, then Shloka 2. Yasyambhasi shayanasya yoga nidram vitanvatah nabhi hradambuja dasit brahma vishwasrijam patih ambhasi ekaranave garbhodake shayanasya vishramasya tatra yoga nidram yoga samadhi tat rupam. So this is samadhi spashtam nasti. So this is samadhi tad rupam. Nidram vitanvatah vistarayatah yasya dvitiya purusha rupasya nabhi hrada. What is this? Hradam. I think this is not hrada, this is hrida. Hrada. Hradam bujat. Okay, hrada ambujat. Nabi saroruhat vishwasrijam patihi prajapati pati brahma asit. So ambhasi shayanasya, one who is sleeping. This is Vishrantasya, Prabhu, not Vishrambhasya.
Oh,
So
okay.
one who is taking rest or sleeping, not like us, on the Garbhodaka ocean, ikaranave Garbhodake, tatra yoga nidram vitanvatah. Yoga samadhi tadrupam nidram. So yoga nidra refers to, how do you say it in English? Yoga samadhi tatrupam nidram. Sleep full of trance, a tranceful sleep. How does Prabhupada translates yoga nidra in
Transcendental sleep, huh?
yoga nidra?
You're not typing.
Actually, it was anyhow transcendental sleep. Vitanvatah vistarayata, one who is continuing, one who is, generally vistarayata means one who expands, but here we'll say one who is continuing the yoga nidra, the transcendental sleep. Yasya dvitiya purusha rupasya, who is the second purusha avatara, the Garbhodakshai. Nabhi hrad ambujat, so from his navel, which is compared to the Saroruhat lotus. Saraha refers to a pond or a lake, and Ruha refers to, one which arises from a lake. Now this is Yoga Rudhi Shabda, means we had that terms today in Amrita or somewhere. I'll just mention it. Now many things pop up from a reservoir, right? Like we have bubbles, we have fane, we have even fishes, and many plants, and also lotus. But when we say Saroruha, then it only means lotus. And the only reasoning we can give, we have learned, is it's a conventional usage, which is known as Yoga Rudha. Yoga Rudha. Rudha means it's like a convention that we just impose that Saroruha is meaning lotus and nothing else.
No, not the etymological one, but the conventional meaning we take.
Yes, yes. So there are 3, 4 types of words like that: yogika, yogarudhi, and 2 more. We'll study that in Akhyata Prakaran. So Vishwasrijam Patihi, so Prajapati Pati Brahma Asit. So he appeared from from Nabhi, who is the Pati of Vishwasrijam, Prajapati Pati, who is the Pati of Prajapatis, like the Ksha and so on. Asit Abhut. यस्यावयव संस्थानैः कल्पितो लोकविस्तरः तद्वै भगवतो रूपं विशुद्धं सत्त्वमूर्जितं यस्य भगवतः हरेः अवयसम. What is this? Avayasam, avayavasam, avayava sansthanai. Oh, avayava sansthanai sakshat padadi sannivesh kramena लोक विस्तरः लोक विस्तारकारी प्रपंचः कल्पितः रचितः तत्तस्य वै निश्चयार्थे भगवतः श्रीहरे विशुद्धं रज आदि. This is रज आदि असन्भिन्नम् ऊर्जितं निरतिशयं सत्त्वरूपं सत्त्वात्मक आकारः. This is 133. It is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha. But he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence par excellence. So it's talking of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu because from his name, the Nabhi, the stem, the lotus stem arises, then lotus, and in that stem all the planets are there. Loka Vistaraha, Avayava Sanstane, and Bhagavatah Vishuddham Urjitam. So he remains Vishuddham and Urjitam Sattvam Rupam Niratishayam Sattva Atma Ka Akaraha. Means his the personification of pure goodness or spiritual existence. Niratishayam is eternally here. Like that. Okay. So we'll end here and we'll meet tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.